Use soap to supersize and grow your business. Retake. Use soap to improve one area and aspect of your life. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 312 of the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge and my froggy voice. We're talking about the O in our SOAP framework. And O, of course, stands for options. Yesterday, we identified our current and our desired story, and that creates a gap in the difference between where we are and where we want to be with respect to, whatever area or aspect of our life we decided to work on. Options stands for options, and we're looking at all the different possible ways that we could start to fill that gap, the gap between where we are and where we want to be. Now, I picked a physical one, and mine is, and I told the story about it. I'm going to go back and take a little peek at my notes. My current eating habits and my current nutrition versus what I want my nutrition to be and my desired eating habits and things. And there is definitely a gap and a disconnect between those two right now. I've been eating, whenever the holidays roll around, I find myself eating lots of things like Devani's pizza or calzones and caramel M&Ms and Halloween treats, things that aren't necessarily the best choices for me and my body, my aging body. Since I don't have a magic wand, I use a SOAP framework to go from where I am to where I want to be. Now, today what we're going to do is we're going to use my favorite tool. I think about changing the tool every time I talk about or I use the SOAP framework, but I don't know that that's necessary. I think once we find a tool we're really, really comfortable with, we can use it over and over and over again, and it becomes our go-to tool. And one of those for me is brainstorming the 10-3-1 strategy. And I love it with the SOAP framework because it helps us to open up our mind to all the possible ways we could start to fill that gap and fill that gap totally, as well as it helps us to prioritize, narrow down, and then select one to take action on tomorrow, right? We don't do that today. All we do today is brainstorm 10 possible ways we could start to fill that gap. Now, yesterday I already talked about one. I said, hey, I found this when I was getting ready for Supersize Your Business video, and it is a self-care journal, which is probably, I'm going to sneak peek ahead and say this is probably going to be the thing I choose to do and take action on as part of my run through the SOAP framework. Why? Because it's quick, it's easy, it's a good solution. It will help me to keep track of what I'm doing, and it will also help me to identify whether I'm making progress or not. So sometimes we find a tool or something that we can do that fills the whole SOAP framework for us, and we can move on to something else in our life. And so for me, this is a big domino area. I know if I eat right and move and exercise, which is a whole nother topic, I'm focusing on nutrition and eating and probably vitamins and supplements, I know that will have a huge impact on all the other areas and aspects of my life. So our action item today is to do brainstorm at least 10 ways we can start to fill or totally fill the gap between our current story, where we are right now, and where we want to be. If you need help with this, there's, of course, a write-up in the Get Up and Go Challenge private Facebook group page, as well as you can always message wherever you see this video, wherever you hear my voice, you can direct message me and ask your question, and I will make sure it gets answered so that we can keep making progress, doing one thing a day to get what we want. All right, that's it. This is an easy one. We've been through this SOAP framework literally dozens and dozens and dozens of times if you've followed me for any amount of time at all. It is, again, this little framework saved my rear, right side up, of course, during COVID. It kept me moving forward when, like so many other people, I just wanted to shut down, take a couple of weeks off, which turned to a couple of months, which turned to a couple of years, and just kind of float and see what happens. And even before it started, I'll be honest, I'm not the type to just sit back and watch and relax as far as when there's a whole lot of change and craziness going on in the world. But our human nature is to say, oh, I'm just going to wait and see what happens. But usually, if we wait and see what happens, it doesn't happen in our favor. So I say, let's be proactive. Let's use that SOAP framework. Let's come up with 10 options today. Again, help, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.